Good afternoon. Today in this video we're going to be conducting fertilizing operations along with fire ant control. We'll be discussing how the fertilizer spreader works and the operation of it. We're also, at the end of this video, you will see the surprising results of the fire ant control. All right, quick introduction to the piece of equipment I'm going to use today. This is what we use in our local area to spread fertilizer, and among one of the things we use. This is a rental. We call it a Buggy, and I got it from the place I get my supplies or my fertilizer from. And I'm going to show you how to get it set up and how to do the correct settings for the amount of fertilizer you want to spread. What we're going to be spreading today is a mixture of fertilizer, which is a 24-9-19, which is a 24% nitrogen, 9% phosphorus, and a 19% potassium mixture, along with some added in fire ant bait, which is made by Extinguish Plus. I've never done it this way before, but they said that they can do it and mixed in there, so it saves me a lot of going around by hand and doing it with a hand spreader to kill these fire ant mounds. And I've got a bunch of them out here in this field they're trying to do. So I'm going to show you how to set this up for the amount that we want. Today I want to spread 300 pounds per acre with using this fertilizer spreader. And to get the right ratio, we have to use some formulas. First of all, the sheet of paper they give us, they tell me what the cubic weight per cubic foot is. And on this, it is, if I get the right area over here, 53.56 pounds per cubic foot. And we take this number, and there's a chart on the back of here that I'm going to go down and try to find the closest ratio that I can for 300 pounds per acre. And what that is, I'm going to bring the camera in a little closer. All right, we're going to come over here and we're going to take a look at this chart. And what we got here on this chart, obviously this is a good number we need to know. This is approximately how wide the spread is going to be as we make our passes in the field. So I want to make sure I have at least a little bit of overlap, but not too much, so I don't have any gaps of coverage. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go down here and it says material weight in pounds per cubic foot. That's what we're looking for. And we want to find the thing that's closest to 53.56, and we got 50, which is the closest. Then we're going to go down the chart, and we're trying to find the closest thing we can to 300 pounds per acre, and 289 or 330 is the closest. I want to go with 289 because I want to make sure I have enough material to cover the entire pasture without running out before I get to the end. So with that 289, I'm going to come across and it says 3.5. Well, 3.5 is a number that I'm going to use, that I'm going to turn this handle right here that will open this gate at the bottom until my pointer gets to 3.5 or approximately 3.5. I may even go just a little shorter just to make sure that I don't run out before the end. And that's how we'd set, that's how we read and set the gate. And I'll set the gate in a second. Now that we know what our adjustment needs to be, we're going to set our gate. We're going to, like I said, we're going to roll this handle up until my pointer gets to approximately 3.5 inches. So as we roll it open, you can see the gate going up down here at the bottom. Oh. And I went just a little past where I wanted. I came back down. And that's approximately the opening we need for the correct ratio of 300 pounds per acre, which, like I said, it's going to be a little less. Now, what happens since I opened the gate is that I'm going to turn on another mechanism here in a minute. And when we start driving, this little metal conveyor belt here will start sliding along and it'll start dragging material out of the trailer. And that material falls and goes down on these little flat plates here. And these things are going to be spinning at a high rate of speed, and it slings the fertilizer out. And like it says, the 40-foot spread, that's how far these things are going to spread out. Approximately 20 feet to one direction, 20 feet the other direction. All right, right here is the heart of the machine. This is what drives everything. This wheel is dropped down onto the tire through the lever right here. And as I pull the trailer forward, the tire spins, rotating this wheel, which operates a hydraulic pump inside the reservoir here, which pushes fluid out to the spinners in the back through via hydraulic hoses, and to a pump up here, which is geared to the conveyor belt, which then slides all the fertilizer out the rear and onto the spinners, where the spinners spread it out. Simple enough. Works good, lasts a long time. All right, before I forget to mention it, anytime this wheel is down, it's going to be driven by the tire. So either one way to turn this machine off is either to stop the truck, or you stop and you get out and you raise it back up. So if you're not wanting to spread it on an area of field, you're going to have to get out and physically shut it off. So that's the drawback. But however, the nice thing is you can either pull this with your truck or your tractor, and you don't need a PTO to operate it. It runs off itself, so makes it nice. And a lot of times I use my tractor, but today we're going to be using the truck to pull this rig. Don't forget the pin.
Big cup.
It goes right there.
Right here. No cotter pin.
Nope.
That's done.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you.
Well, it's been 10 days since I applied the fertilizer and the fire ant Extinguish Plus to the field, and I'm going to see what it has done to the fire ants. Let's take a look. All right, I poked a stick at this mound the other day. That's why there's a hole in it, to see if it's still got anything. Yep, just pouring out, and they got eggs. Look at that. All right, well, that's one mound. Let's go find another one. All right, here's another nearby mound. Let's take a look at this one. Kind of crusty. Yep. Look at that. I don't think my stuff did anything. I was expecting maybe some reduction, but that don't even look like a reduction in population there. All right. Well, that's disappointing. Doesn't look like that fire ant bait did any good. I did research on the line, and I did find that they don't recommend mixing it with fertilizer because it can contaminate the bait and cause the fire ants not to eat it. So that looks like that's my results. However, your results may vary. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, please leave them below. And as always, thank you for watching.